Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yes, Miss Kimberly and I are very, very excited to be here tonight to share with you one of our favorite stories. And just before we begin the story, I'm going to ask Miss Kimberly if she could introduce the author of the story and just tell us a little bit about the story first.
Thank you, Mr. Chisholm. Robert Munsch is one of the best children authors of all times. His books are sweet, humorous, and a lot of fun. Robert Munsch is from Ontario, Canada. And guess what? So are we. Tonight, we will be reading one of his favorite books, The Paper Bag Princess. The Paper Bag Princess was written in 1980. It's a classic. First, I will tell you a little bit about the story before we begin. It's about when the fiercest dragon in the whole world smashes Princess Elizabeth's castle, burns her clothes, and captures her fiancé, Prince Ronald. Elizabeth decides to take things into her own hands, and with her wits and nothing but a paper bag to wear, the princess challenges the dragon to show his strength in hopes of saving the prince. But is it worth all that trouble? Let's find out. The Paper Bag Princess. Story by Robert Munsch. Illustrations by Michael Marchenko. To Elizabeth.
Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. She was going to marry a prince named Ronald. Unfortunately, a dragon smashed her castle, burned all of her clothes with his fiery breath, and carried off Prince Ronald. Elizabeth decided to chase the dragon and get Ronald back. She looked everywhere for something to wear, but the only thing that she could find that was not burnt was a paper bag. So she put on the paper bag and she followed that dragon. He was easy to follow because he left a trail of burnt forest and horse's bones. Finally, Elizabeth came to a cave with a large door. It had a huge knocker on it. She took hold of the knocker and she banged on the door. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and he said, "Well, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I'm a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." He slammed the door so fast that Elizabeth almost got her nose caught. Elizabeth grabbed the knocker and she banged on the door again. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Go away. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I'm a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow."
Wait!
Shouted Elizabeth.
Is it true that you are the smartest and the fiercest dragon in the whole world?
"Yes," said the dragon.
Is it true,
said Elizabeth,
that you can burn up 10 forests with your fiery breath?
"Oh, yes," said the dragon. And he took a huge, deep breath, and he breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 50 forests.
Fantastic,
said Elizabeth. And the dragon took another huge breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 100 forests.
Magnificent!
Said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath. But this time, nothing came out. The dragon didn't even have enough fire to cook a single meatball. Elizabeth said,
Dragon, is it true that you could fly around the world in just 10 seconds?
Why, yes, said the dragon. And he jumped up and he flew all the way around the world in just 10 seconds. He was very tired when he got back, but Elizabeth shouted, Fantastic!
Do it again!
So the dragon jumped up, flew around the world in just 20 seconds. When he got back, he was too tired to talk. He lay down and went straight to sleep. Elizabeth whispered very softly,
Hey, dragon.
The dragon didn't move at all. She lifted up the dragon's ear. She put her head right inside, and she shouted as loud as she could, Hey, dragon! The dragon was so tired, he didn't even move. Elizabeth walked right over the dragon. She opened the door to the cave, and there was Prince Ronald. He looked at her and said, Elizabeth, you are a mess. You smell like ashes, your hair is all tangled, and you are wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back when you're dressed like a real princess.
Ronald,
said Elizabeth,
your clothes are really pretty and your hair is very neat. You look like a real prince, but you are a bum.
And guess what? They didn't get married after all. The end.